24-yard line. So Carmel couldn't get any points out of a very productive drive, starting with good field position on their first possession of the ball game. Now look to redeem themselves here in 1st and 10 from Broadripple's 24-yard line. Whalen and Polker in the I formation. Sarah, far right side. Tristler off to the left. Peening, the tight end, on the left side. Meek now barks out the signals. Fakes the pitch, gives the ball to Whaling right up the middle. Whaling maybe got back to the line of scrimmage as he was shut down by a wall of Broadripple defenders.
With the exception of Carmel's very first offensive play, Broadripple has done an excellent job stopping Carmel's usually explosive running game.
Now just 6 minutes left in the first quarter of play. No score yet. As Carmel are facing a 2nd down and 10 from the Rockets' 24-yard line here in Broadripple. Carmel breaks their huddle, comes to the line, I formation. Trista, the only wide receiver, far right side, double tight end set. Meek going to give the ball to Peening on the tight end around. Peening, it looks close to the first down, maybe a yard shy. He needed to get to the 10-yard line. The official's going to spot this at about the 10.5, I believe. Take up of 10 on that play for Peening. We've seen that end around first used in the Ben Davis game by Ben Davis, and then Carmel went ahead and took that idea and used it in the last game very effectively with Aaron Peening.
Last game, Peening ran 4 times for 57 yards. So as you mentioned, Peening did run the ball a couple times on that tight end around very successfully last week.
So 3rd down and 1 now. I guess the ball's on the 14-yard line. Full house backfield in for the Greyhounds. They give the ball to Whaling. Whaling right up the middle. Whaling's got a lot of room to run. He's got the first down, about 5 yards more. As it looks like he's close to the 5-yard line. And that's where they're going to start it. So 1st down and 5 from the Broadripple 5-yard line.
So Whaling with a gain of 9 on the play puts Carmel within 5 of scoring.
So now 4.5 minutes left in the first quarter. Carmel in the full house backfield. Mink now looks on, barking out the signals. Takes the snap, gives the ball to Whaling off that left side. Whaling is in. Touchdown Greyhounds. The score 6-0 with the 4:24 mark in the first quarter of action as he rumbled his way in over the left side of Carmel's offensive line.
So Jeff Whaling with a 5-yard touchdown right after he just gained 9 to put him in position.
Kyle Alonzo comes in to attempt the extra point. Aaron Peening is his long snapper, and Nick Blake is holding for Kyle Alonzo.
That was a 4-play, 24-yard touchdown drive for your Greyhounds. Jeff Whaling carried the ball twice. Peening carried it once, and Shannon Polk also carried it once.
The kick by Alonzo is up and good. That makes it 7-0 at the 4:24 mark here in the first quarter of action, where your Greyhounds lead at Broadripple.
So Carmel now has 3 first downs offensively, 55 yards rushing, and 10 yards passing. Meek is 1 for 2.
Emery Siebert now on the field for his first kickoff of the ball game. He put several back into the end zone last week as he had an excellent ball game. That's the best I've seen him kick all season long. As we were talking about earlier, Carmel's special teams play has been excellent all season long. As back deep for Broadripple is Sam Brown. And off to his left is Scott Pennick. And off to Brown's right-hand side is Sean Parker.
So the Greyhounds on their second offensive possession, able to punch it in. Broadripple, the first time Carmel touched the ball, were pretty successful in stopping the run after the 25-yard touchdown gain by, 25-yard first down gain for Shannon Polk. But since then, we're good against the run until Jeff Whaling, the fullback, came in and got 14 yards rushing on 2 plays and a touchdown.
So the kick from Siebert is on its way. It's an end-over-end kick to the right side. It's going to fall to Sam Brown. Brown up the 20-yard line, comes back to the right side. Not much more than 20. He's going to take it about the 22-yard line, so a return of 12.
Brought down on the play by the senior cornerback, Chad Whitlock.
Carmel's defensive unit comes out of the field for the second time after shutting down the Broadripple Rockets.
Okay, I heard you say that earlier.
They come to the line of scrimmage. Quest Hardy is their quarterback. They're in an I formation. They got a slot back right side, another wide out far right side. Hardy takes the snap, rolls out right side under some pressure from Muniz. Muniz is going to get him as Hammer comes in to clean up Hardy. So a big-time play from Carmel's defensive line. And on the sack, that's going to push him back to what looks like the 15-yard line.
B.J. Hammer, the senior lineman, and Ernie Muniz, also the senior lineman, in on the tackle. Ernie Muniz, a 6'1", 230-pound senior for your Greyhounds.
Your Greyhounds up 7-0. The ball is on the 15-yard line of the Rockets where they have possession. Hardy's at the line of scrimmage. There's just now under 4 minutes left in the first quarter. Hardy drops back. He's under a lot of pressure now from Wagner. Just gets rid of the ball. And Sam Morris makes that Eric Hedegaard absolutely killed the man out in the flat as he caught that ball when it was dumped out to Sean Parker. Caught that ball on the right side, and then Hedegaard picked Parker up and body slammed him into the ground.
Inside linebacker is usually responsible for a tight end or a running back running out into the flat. Eric Hedegaard doing a good job covering his responsibility and making a good open field tackle on the play.
So now Quest Hardy to the line of scrimmage with one man in the backfield in the form of Parker. Got three wideouts on the right. Hardy drops back, throws right side. He's got a man open in the middle of the field, breaks one tackle, picks up about 4 or 5 on the play where he's brought down. That was a 3rd down and 22 facing Broadripple. It's now going to be about a 4th down and 18. So I would imagine they'd elect to kick this ball away to John Serra, who's now the deep man.
Chad Whitlock, who made the tackle on the kickoff by the Greyhounds, was in on that tackle, stopping them short of the first down by about 10, 12 yards.
So Serra is the deep man. Jimmy Bailey gets this ball away cleanly. It's a low kick that looks like it might go out of bounds. Now Serra's going to let it roll to the 45-yard line where it's finally downed. Carmel will take over on downs at their own 45-yard line.
So the Greyhounds will start in a good field position. Not as good as the the Broadripple Rockets 24 as they started last time. But good field position near the midfield stripe with 2:15 left in the first quarter. The Greyhounds will get the ball for the 3rd time.
And they do lead 7-0 here. As they come to the line of scrimmage, Serra left side, Polk and Willing in the split backfield. Another slot back off to the right. Meek now drops back, looks right side. He's under a lot of pressure. Throws the ball away down the right side and just throws it out of bounds. His intended receiver over there was Jason Trissler, who's about 10 yards away from that football.
Pressure on the play by James Clark, the junior defensive lineman for the Broadripple Rockets. He's 5'10", 206 pounds, so a big guy running pretty fast, pressuring Meek to throw the ball away that time.
So the Greyhounds now with the 2nd and 10 from Broadripple's, their own 43-yard line. As Carmel comes to the line again in a I formation this time. Serra on the left, Trissler on the right. Trissler's more of a slot back, though, on that right side as Travis Meek sets. He barks out the signals, takes the handoff, rolls out right side. He's got some pressure. He's hit as he's thrown, gets rid of the ball. It stops up in the air and falls down harmlessly incomplete. Ronald Pienick on the coverage there, got his helmet on that football, knocked it high into the air.
Ronald Pienick, the DB for Broadripple, did a good job of timing that one, just touching the ball and the receiver as the ball got there. Nice defensive play, good timing by the DB for Broadripple.
Travis Meek took a hit on that play as he had someone closing in from behind him and one right in front of him. He got popped right in the ribs as soon as he got rid of that football. So 3rd down and 10 now, again from Broadripple's 43-yard line after Carmel attempted 2 complete passes. P's the tight end on the left side. Bertelli's off on the right side. Trista the wideout on that right side. An I back set. They give the ball to Pete on the end around. He cuts it upfield and up to the middle. He's got the first down. He's got a lot of riding room out in front of him. 4 people are chasing him before he's finally dragged down at what appears to be the 15-yard line. That's going to be first down, Greyhounds.
Brought down by the junior DB, 6'1", 185-pound junior Nibishi for Broadripple.
We've now seen that play go for 2 first downs. The 2 times it's been run, that one is a huge gainer. A lot of teams don't look for that and don't have a defense really set up for that kind of play. As Peening lines up on the right side as a tight end. Tristler far right side, Sarah on the left. Polk and Welling in the I formation. Now just under 2 minutes left in the first quarter play. They give the ball to Polk. Polk up.
They're going to be selling space like you might in a physical mall to the local wine merchants, local restaurateurs, local movie.
Aaron Peening, the second time we've seen that tight end around.
Minute 36 left in the first. Abel's out to the right side, Foss to the left. To the high back set for your Greyhounds. Meek now gives the ball to Polk. Polk off tackle, left side. Touchdown, he just snuck in. That's going to make it 13-0 Greyhounds. At the 1:15 mark here in the first quarter of play as Kyle Alonso come in to attempt the extra point.
So Carmel scores for the second time in 3 drives. Carmel now has 110 yards. Meek is 1 for 6, 10 yards passing for the Greyhounds. Your Greyhounds have 5 first downs and 1 penalty with illegal procedure.
So Alonso now gets set. 13-0 is the score in favor of your Greyhounds. The low snap, Alonso gets it up and kicks it straight through the uprights. It's good. 14-0 now for your Greyhounds. And then the receiver will come back out in the field for another kickoff.
So Shannon Polk and Jeff Whaling both with 5-yard touchdowns give your Greyhounds the 14-point lead with 1:15 left in the first period.
Carmel showing an excellent running game that drive. They tried to pass the ball, didn't work out. They went to big Arian Peeney, the tight end, on a reverse that I believe they stole from Ben Davis in that game that they played then.
Broadripple's done a nice job forcing Carmel to convert on 2 of 4 third downs.
It's been a very successful play. As Emery Stevert tees the ball up. And just waits for the official signal to give this ball a boot. 3 men back deep. Sam Brown is the deepest man at about his 5-yard line. Stevert the kick at the low line drive kick. It's going to roll to the right side. Fielded by one of the up backs. Brought up close to the 20-yard line. He runs over several people before John Rolling gets a hit on him, and then Weintraub can finally bring him down. Close to the 25-yard line, where the Rockets will take over on downs. It is their own 25-yard line.
So Broadripple Rockets will start their third offensive series, finding themselves down by 14 points with 1:05 left in this first period.
All right. It's doing fine.
So Quest Hardy now to the line. It's an I-back formation. Bailey's the deep man, or rather not the deep man, he's in the eye, he's the tailback. Sean Parker, the fullback in front of him. 2 wideouts right side. Hardy looks to pass, dumps the ball out in the flat to Sam Brown. Sam Brown swarmed under though, about 1.5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. So we'll lose yardage on that pass play rather.
Brought down by strong safety Ben Hoagland and Sam Morris, your left defensive cornerback.
Tackled by number 18, Ben Hoagland.
Meek is now 2 of 6 passing.
Half the thing working, man. Give him none.
So Hardy comes to the line again. I aforementioned wide out left side.
3 for 1 yard passing.
In the form of Minor, just back to pass. He's throwing a Minor on that left side deep, and he just bled his intended receiver by maybe 1/2 yard. But Whitlock with excellent coverage over there on the left side was stride for stride with him.
3rd and 11.
So your your Gray. So Broadripple throws an incomplete pass that time. Good coverage by Chad Whitlock on the play. Broadripple finds himself with a 3rd and 11 with 23.3 seconds left in this first period.
The ball's going to be spotted on the 30-yard line of the Rockets. 3rd down and 11. Hardy drops back to pass. He's under a lot of pressure by Billy Brown. Gets it as he's thrown and just sends this ball out of bounds nearly a row deep into the section here.
Billy Brown and Justin Weintraut under the pressure that time, forcing him to throw that one away. A good choice to throw that one away. Carmel had good coverage.
Carmel's been in Hardy's face all ball game long, as we have seen a completely different starting lineup out of Broadripple than the one we are given. As now back deep to punt will be Bailey again. And Carmel sends Sarah back to his own 40-yard line. It's a high snap. Takes a long time to get it off. Hedegaard gets a finger on it. It takes a Carmel roll. It lands at the 50-yard line, then back to the 50 after another funny hop where it's finally down right there, just over the 50-yard line in favor of the Greyhounds, where they will take over.
So Carmel will start in 5 yards, better field position than their last touchdown drives. Carmel has scored on 2 of their 3 touchdown drives off touchdown runs from Jeff Whaling and Shannon Polk.
Up 14-0 now with 7.7 seconds left in the first quarter of play here at Broadripple. As they break their huddle and send Foss and Abels out to the far right side. Petey's the tight end set on the left. It's an I formation. Meek now gets under center. Takes the snap. It's an inside handoff to Polk. Polk going to pick up about 4 on that play before he's dropped down, bringing up 2nd down and 6 from the Broadripple 46-yard line.
Shannon Polk came firing through that hole. Defensive lineman for Broadripple was lucky to reach up and grab an ankle and stop him for only a 4-yard gain. Carmel, though, now has 114 yards rushing at the end of the first quarter.
So with this official timeout, we'll take a timeout. That's 60 seconds on the voice of the Greyhounds.
Thanks go out to the following Greyhound boosters: John, Susan, and Kim Doerr, Carmen and John Dowd, Dennis Downer, Mark, Marcia, Amy, and Mandy Draper, Dan and Teresa Drow, Jim and Dee Dee Eaton, Carol and Pat Ebright, Bob and Lacey Eccles, Doug and Sharon Ellington, Mike and Arden Elliott, Jack and Nancy Ingledow, Ed and Carol Ingledow, David Enlow, Joel, Debbie, Sam, and Jesse Epstein, Don, Liz, Phil, Jim, and Donnie Erath, Kevin Eskew, Pat and Jim Estep, Paul Estridge, Dan, Linda, Matt, Megan, Brian, and Lauren Fabro. If you'd like to be a Greyhound booster, send your check or money order for $25 to the Greyhound Booster Club, 520 East Main Street, Carmel, Indiana, 46032, and your name will be added to this list.
2nd down and 6 now. Facing your Greyhounds as we have another change for the Broadripple Rockets. Now Kenny Sanders has been quarterbacking all ball game long. So Carmel in the I formation with 2 wideouts left side. Then he takes a snap, takes several handoffs. He's going to pass. Penalty flags go down all over the place. He's going to run up the ball, rolling out far right side, and finally dumps it off to Peeney. Peeney gets forced out of bounds about a yard from the line of scrimmage. There's probably holding on that play.
I was amazed Meek was able to get rid of that one. Pressured by 2 Broadripple defensive men, and he got a complete pass out of it for a gain of a yard or 2.
It is holding on the Greyhounds, so that'll march him back 5. And it was 2nd down and 6. 11 minutes and 50 seconds now left in the first half of play, where your Greyhounds lead 14-0, but Broadripple has shown some signs of brilliance here, as they haven't quite been able to piece it together through the first quarter.
That's going to be the 2nd penalty on your Greyhounds. They have a total of 15-yard penalties, 1 on a legal procedure, the other holding.
So they send Tristler and Sarah into the Carmel offensive huddle, as they are their 2 star receivers, and they're probably going to line up both out on that left side. They do, as it's an I formation. Peeney tight end to right side. Second down and 23 to go now for your Greyhounds as penalty flags go down before the ball was snapped. Meek rolls out left side, dumps the ball off to Sarah, rather dumps the ball off, throws way downfield to Sarah. Sarah catches the ball, I believe, at the that far left side, and then steps out of bounds. Penalty flags are down, though, as Sarah got beyond 5 yards of the line of scrimmage.
Sarah with a 20-yard reception there. If it stands, tucking his toes in, staying in bounds on that far sideline. A good reception, but it's going to be against the Greyhounds, and they're going to march him back.
Illegal procedure on the Greyhounds, or check that, that was illegal motion on the play. So that'll negate a huge run, or rather a huge catch for Sarah. 15-yard pass completion. 11 minutes and 20 seconds left in the half. Your Greyhounds will lead 14-0 now, as it remains second down and long. Second down and 28 is where it's going to be spotted. It's on the Greyhounds' own 32-yard line. Carmel's going to line up in an I with two wideouts far left side. Peen's the tight end on that right side. Meek drops straight back. He's under a lot of pressure. Throws over the middle and just got rid of the ball as he didn't really have a receiver out in the middle of the field. Aaron Peening gets into it with Ronald Peenick of Broadripple, but no penalty flags down. Everything's fine.
So Carmel's line, crippling under a little pass rush from Broadripple that time. Meek throwing that one away. We've seen it a couple times. Broadripple's been able to get in the Carmel backfield and force Meek to throw it away.
So third down and 28 now. 11 minutes left in the first half. Greyhounds come to the line with Trissler far right side, Sarah on the far left. Carmel now switches to a split back formation. Meek now takes the snap, gives the ball to Whaling up the middle. Whaling falls forward for a couple on the play. That'll make it fourth down and 26.
Whaling on the quick handoff up the middle, not successful, and Carmel will be forced to punt.
Weintraub now back deep to punt the ball for your Greyhounds. Broadripple has two deep men, Scott Peenick and Sam Brown. It's a good snap to Weintraub. Weintraub gets away cleanly. Ball bounces and rolls to the 30-yard line where it's picked up by Peenick. Peenick's up at the right side. He crosses the 50. He's at the 40, 30. One man to beat it to the 20. 10, 5, touchdown Broadripple on a huge run back as he accelerated to catch that ball on the hop, and you could tell he was gone when he caught it. So Broadripple with the big play cuts the lead of Carmel in half. The score 14-7 with 10-10 left in the first half. Broadripple with good blocking on special teams and a speedy punt return man on the touchdown. I think that 14-6, we shouldn't get too ahead of ourselves there. They still got to kick the extra point.
A 70-yard punt return for Peenick, the punt return specialist for Broadripple.
That came at the 10-10 mark of the first half. 14-6 now. Your Greyhounds still lead there, as we were raving about how excellent Carmel special teams have been before the game. They give up a huge run there by Scott Peenick as Broadripple's going to take a timeout, so we'll take a 60-second booster break. That's 60 seconds on the voice of the Greyhounds.
Our thanks go out to the following Greyhound boosters: Kenneth Recker, John and Marcia and Christy Reed, Dr. and Mrs. Philip Reed and family, Susan and Charlie Richardson, the Kevin Reimer family, Gregory and Myra Riley, Lester and Rose Roberts, Don and Karen Robinson, Sam and Louis Robinson, Richard and Peggy Rogers, Sharon Rosenberg, Sandra and Haskell Ross, Ann Roth, Don, Sandy, Dan, Annie, Mike, Leah, Mark, John, Aaron, and Jessica Rothbaum, Ted and Mary Sue Rowland, Martha and David Roos, Susan, Mike, Katie, and Colleen Rusnick, Jim and Betty Russell. If you would like to be a Greyhound booster, send your check or money order to the Greyhound Booster Club, $25, 520 East Main Street, Carmel, Indiana, 46032, and your name will be added to the list.
Hello and welcome back to Broadripple. This is Kevin Rust alongside Derek Hardy. Broadripple just scored a touchdown, making it 14-6, still in favor of the Greyhounds here. They're going to elect to go for the two-point conversion, not trusting their kicking game. And as their quarterback, Kenny Sanders, rolls out right side, he pitches the ball on the option to Bailey. Bailey does not get into the end zone, so Carmel stops him on a two-point conversion. The score remains 14-6 in favor of your Greyhounds.
Sam Morris brought him down as he was trying to go outside on the far sideline to the right side. A good tackle by Sam Morris. Broadripple, surprisingly, with 7 points on the board, they have negative 8 yards total offense, but the 70-yard punt return has come in big for them.
It's up there, this little water buggy. Dave Megaded it through the line.
6 points, excuse me. So Carmel leads by a score of 14-6 with 10:10 left in the first half.
Well, I guess the good news is Carmel will get the ball back, and Shannon Polk now is also a threat to return the ball all the way. We'll hopefully get a chance to get his hands on this ball as he's lining. Looks like he's going to be standing about the 15-yard line. As it was a low side kick, I describe it. Not an onside kick, though. As the Rockets kicked off this first half of action, so Polk expecting a short kick, is playing way up. So, just waiting for the official word now. I get it, and Broadripple gives the ball a boot. It's end-over-end kick, fielded by Brent Thomas. Brent Thomas takes a few steps backwards and then runs straight up the middle where he gets his feet taken out from him after Scott Penick fall down and happened to be in the right spot at the right time.
So Penick, after the run back, makes the special teams tackle on the kickoff.
Looks like the ball's at the 37-yard line where it's spotted of Carmel. As they're going to try to match Broadripple's score after they did score on that huge punt return play by Scott Penick.
Carmel with 124 total yards offense so far in the first half.
Carmel line now, double tight end set, one wide out, far left side. Carmel still remains in that I formation. Meek now gives the ball to Polk. Polk left side, off tackle, picks up about 5 on the play before he's finally brought down on the left side of the field.
Jeff Whaling lead blocking on that play. Looked like he came off the tackle with a little limp, but he's all right. Goes back to the huddle. Shannon Polk with a 5-yard gain on the play, as Kevin said.
2nd and 5 now from Carmel's 44-yard line. Now just under 9.5 minutes left in the first half of play. We Greyhounds still lead 14-6. In the I formation, they got a wide out far right side. They give the ball to Polk on the delay. Polk up the middle. He's got the first down, a little bit more past the 50-yard line, about the 48-yard line of Broadripple.
So Shannon Polk with the 8-yard gain on the play gives Carmel their 6th first down at the 47 of Broadripple.
First and 10 now. As Pertelli comes out of the huddle, Carmel going to go out of a one tight end set. Sarah far right side, Tristler off to the far left. Carmel in the eye again. Polk and Whaling. Meek now under center, takes the pitch, gives it to Whaling, right up the middle. Whaling puts his head down, and that was a keeper by Meek there around the left end, who ended up picking 15 yards on the play. That was the second time this season they have fooled me on that play.
An excellent fake on the play. They fooled me as well. Meek, with a good play fake, runs around for a 15-yard gain, as you said, and Carmel's 7th first down of the game.
That's the play where they usually fake the pitch to Polk, give the ball to Whaling up the middle, and that's what I called it. But Meek kept it and ran around the left end, picked up about 15 on the play. The ball's on the 35-yard line. 1st and 10. Greyhounds in a split backfield, tossed out right side. As the lone wideout, they give the ball to Polk this time on the left end. He bounces off one would-be tackler and picks up about 5 yards.
So Shannon Polk bouncing off runs, bouncing off potential blockers and fighting for 5 yards on the play, a tough 5 yards.
Make that 4 yards. Ball spotted on the 31-yard line of Broadripple. As Carmel's starting to get their high-octane offense in gear.
They have 138 yards rushing in this first half so far.
Carmel out of the line. They're far left side. They're in the eye with a double tight end set. Meek sets, takes the snap, gives the ball to Polk. Polk tries to go off left tackle. Doesn't get much if he got any. Maybe a half a yard on that play. That'll bring up 3rd down and 5 from the 30-yard line of Broadripple.
Tripped up originally by Coleman Anderson, the senior DB for Broadripple. He's a big one, 297 pounds, 5'9".
So Carmel huddles up again. Score is 14-6 in favor of your Greyhounds. It is 3rd down and 6, they're going to call it. 7 minutes and 20 seconds left in the first half of play. As Tristler's off to the far right side, double tight end set. Carmel's lining up in the eye again. They fake the handoff to Polk. Meek's going to pass, throws right side. He's got a receiver up in the form of Aaron Peening. Aaron Peening drags 2 or 3 Broadripple tacklers up past the first down marker to about the 20-yard line. I think that's at 19.
12 yards.
So 12-yard pickup for Aaron Peening.
Good job by Aaron Peening getting open. Pretty good coverage by Broadripple, just a little late. Meek, good protection in the pocket. He's had some trouble, but good protection that time and delivered a strike to Peening for a 12-yard first down.
So Carmel now sends Sarah far left side. Tristler far left. Next up makes Sarah far right. They're in a split back formation. Meek takes the snap, gives the ball to Whaling. Whaling bounces off several people, falls forward, pickup of 3 maybe on the play. That'll bring up 2nd down and 7. As penalty flags come down very late. So it'll be 2nd down and 7 from the 16-yard line of Broadripple. We'll see what the penalty flags do to that.
The officials are talking, and the Broadripple Rockets are signaling to Carmel, so initial signal leaning towards the penalty against Carmel.
Call is personal foul against Carmel. That's just got to hurt you. That's silly, stupid mistakes that Carmel can't allow to them, especially when they're driving like this.
It's going to march them back.
Carmel's got to control their temper. There was all kinds of personal fouls 2 weeks ago against Penn Davis. So Carmel huddles up now after taking that 15-yard infraction.
The Greyhounds now with 35 yards penalized on 4 penalties.
Carmel now from their own 32-yard line. Faced with 2nd and long in the I formation. Slot back right side in the form of Tristler. Meek drops back to pass, looks left side, dumps the ball off, where it's caught about 5 yards from the line of scrimmage. That was by Tristler across the middle, and Tristler got upended, got his legs taken out from under him. He took a huge hit.
Got a nice shot on play applied by a Broadripple corner. Tristler jumped up in the air, and he paid for going up in the air as he was drilled and brought down.
2nd down and 25, pickup of 3. As Feldman, Tristler, and Sarah all in the ball game now. Tristler and Sarah out to the far right side. Baird and Feldman far left side. 1 man in the backfield. Meek now set. Drops straight back to pass. He's under a lot of pressure. Gets some blocking. Rolls out right side. He's looking downfield. He tucks the ball away. Called from a block for Sarah. Gets up and he's forced out of bounds at about the 30-yard line.
Oh, I know. He was looking to be had over.
As that'll now make it 4th down for your Greyhounds.
Gain about 5 of the play, not nearly enough. Carmel now has 143 yards rushing, but unfortunately this brings up a 4th down for Carmel.
So 4th and still real long, 4th and about 15. As 4th down and 20 now. As Travis Meek stays in the ball game. Carmel seems to think they can go for it. The ball is positioned at the 29-yard line, their own 29-yard line. And you get all the way to their 9. Carmel's in an I formation with Aaron Peeney, the tight end, on the right side. 2 wideouts on the left side in the form of Sarah and Tristler. Meek drops back to pass. He throws a high one up on the left side for Tristler. It's a jump ball. Tristler couldn't come down with it. as he was fobbling the ball and lost it as it hit the ground.
Good coverage on the play by Gary Ewing and Derek Lewis, 2 DBs for Broadripple, doing a good job. That ends a 10-play drive for Carmel that took up 5.5 minutes off the clock. So Carmel was a disappointing drive there, hurt by unsportsmanlike penalty against them, drove them back and made it impossible to get a first down.
14-6 is the score, though, in favor of your Greyhounds. Is now Kenny Sanders is quarterbacking. That's the third quarterback we've called in. As they're in the I formation, the slot back left side, another wide out. They give the ball off to an inside handoff to Barry. Barry probably lost a couple on that play, making it 2nd down and 12 from Broadripple's own 29-yard line.
So Carmel's defense stopping the run that time. Broadripple now has negative 9 yards total offense, but the explosive punt return has been the key.
2nd and 11, loss of 1. Now 4 minutes left in the ball game. Your Greyhounds lead 14-6. Broadripple comes to the line of scrimmage with the wide out left side in an I formation. And a slot at left side. Jump ball thrown up on the left side where it's not caught. And Nick Olson hit a receiver about 3 yards out of bounds. No penalty flags thrown. He knocked off the intended receiver's helmet. That was Corey Price there, who got drilled out of bounds about 3 yards out of bounds and was knocked into his own bench.
A lot of class shown by the intended receiver that time for Broadripple. Didn't get up, didn't say any words, didn't try and pick a fight, just walked back to the huddle.
Kokomo 17, North Central 14.
So Broadripple comes to the line of scrimmage. I don't care. They got in the I formation. Double tight end set, wide out right side. They drop back to pass. Roll out right side. Kenny Sanders delivers the ball as he's hit. He's got a man open deep, but Sam Morris just gets in the way of that and knocks it out of bounds.
Sam Morris in good position, a jumping block against the intended receiver, and that'll bring up 4th down.
So 4th down and 11. Let's see what Broadripple elects to do deep in their own territory. The ball is at their 28-yard line. They trail the Greyhounds 14-6. So Bailey now remains in the ball game to punt this one away. Carmel's got a deep man at the 45-yard line in the form of John Sarah. Sarah's got a backtrack to the 40-yard line. This is a pretty decent punt. Sarah takes it in the middle of the field, cuts back left side. He's got some blocking now across the middle of the field. He's dropped down by 2 Broadripple receivers about the 47-yard line.
Just received word that Kokomo leads 17-14 against North Central with 3 minutes left in the first half. The winner of that game will play Carmel next week in the sectional championship game.
Well, now, Derek. Carmel hasn't won this game quite yet.
Excuse me, they will play Carmel or Broadripple in the sectional championship game next week.
So Carmel 1st and 10 from their own 46-yard line is the official spot. 14-6 now, just under 3 minutes and 30 seconds left in the first half of play. When your Greyhounds do lead, they line up in the I formation. They give the Polk left side. Polk is going to go for it for about 8 yards. Not quite good enough for the first down, but breaks into Broadripple territory.
But a good gain the way Broadripple's been playing against the run. Shannon Polk with an 8-yard gain on first down. Carmel now has 146 yards rushing and 168 yards total offense.
2nd down and 2. The ball's on Broadripple's 46-yard line. Trisler comes out far right side. Double tight end set. Carmel in the eye in the form of Polk and Whaling. Meek now set. Gives the ball to Polk. Polk left side. Off tackle. Penalty flags down all over the place. He's got a first down. He's got a lot of room to run at the 20. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. Penalty flags though, Shannon Polk. This one may be coming back. As the penalty flags came down when there was a whole slew of Carmel blockers for Shannon Polk on his left side.
That would be a 44-yard touchdown run.
Would make it 20-6, but I think this one's coming back.
Carmel has had four penalties called against them. see what this one is.
Yeah, Carmel's already walking back.
So holding against Carmel, they now have 45 penalty yards in the first half. Unfortunately, negating that time a 44-yard Shannon Polk touchdown.
So the ball's now at Carmel's own 44-yard line where they're faced with second down and long. Second down and 14. As Carmel huddles up. As Sarah and Tristler, their best wide receivers, come out to the far right side. Carmel's still in that I formation. Meek now has been taking pressure all ball game long when he tries to pass. He fakes to Polk, rolls out right side, gets some good blocking, throws downfield to Sarah. Sarah has to die for that ball, couldn't hang on. That would have been good for the first down at the 40. But Sarah didn't have control when he hit the ground and bounced right out of his hand. So it's third down and 14, still facing your Greyhounds.
That time Meek rolling out on the right side, throwing as he ran, maybe threw it a little bit too outside for Sarah to get a grab on, although Sarah did take a good dive at it. As penalties have hurt your Greyhounds in the last two drives, putting them in second and long. Last drive it was unsportsmanlike conduct, and this drive it's holding.
Broadripple has played very well thus far. Third down and 13, huge play for Carmel. They have two wideouts left side and a slot back with Whaling. They fake the ball to Polk. Meek rolls out left side, gives the ball to Tristler. Tristler, he's got the first down at the 40-yard line of Broadripple. No penalty flags down. So first and 10 Greyhounds on an 18-yard pickup.
Josh Tristler with the extra effort. The initial tackler would have been about 6 yards short of the first down, but he broke the tackle and got the first down. Good effort by Josh Tristler.
Tristler received that ball about the 45-yard line, brought it up to the 40. Still an excellent play by Tristler, showing good determination. As Sarah and Tristler come out to the right side, Polk goes to the sideline now. He's getting a break. Carmel's got four wideouts. Feldman and Barrett are on the left side. Whaling the one man in the backfield for this first and 10 play from Broadripple's 40-yard line. Meek drops back, throws right side. Pass is incomplete. His intended receiver was Tristler, as Meek again picks himself up from the ground. He's been under a lot of pressure.
Meek hit as he threw by Corey Smith, the defensive man for Broadripple. He's had that happen a couple times, having to throw it a little bit early as he has been pressured.
So Carmel now second down and 10. Trying to hold on to their 14-6 lead. They come to the line of scrimmage. One out right side, another one left side, I formation. Meek fakes the handoff, drops straight back. He's got a lot of time, throws across the middle of the field to Peeney. Peeney catches the ball in the middle of the field, and he just gets into the end zone. Touchdown again. I'm sorry, I'm so low to the field, I can't tell where the ball's positioned. He caught that ball at about the 10-yard line and then scampered in untouched for the touchdown.
Travis Meek that time, good protection by the Carmel line. He's able to sit back in the pocket and find Peening open over the middle and hit him for the touchdown run. Peening catching the ball.
That's a 40-yard completion for Aaron Peening, who's had an excellent ball game thus far.
Ronald Pinnick, the DB took a dive at it, but Peening brought it in and ran it in.
Peening actually bobbled that ball just a little bit. By the way, the score is now 20-6 in favor of your Greyhounds, as Lonzo is on to attempt the extra point. The low snap. Blake gets it down cleanly, though, and Lonzo puts it up and through. And makes it 21-6 in favor of your Greyhounds, as they may be starting to pull away from the Rockets.
Carmel now with 226 total yards offense, 146 passing, 80 passing and 146 rushing. The last touchdown coming from Aaron Peening. Also on the night, Shannon Polk and Jeff Whaling have scored touchdowns.
Emery Sievert, who does the kickoff duties for your Greyhounds, as Kyle Alonso kicks the extra points and the field goals. Minute 53 now left in the second quarter of action here. 21-6 is your score, where your Greyhounds lead the Broadripple Rockets here in this second sectional matchup. As Emery Sievert just about ready to go.
Remember, Broadripple returned the punt for 70-yard touchdown, so Broadripple explosive on the return.
Sievert gets the kick away down the right side. It's a short one, fielded by Phoenix. Phoenix brought one back on a punt return, cuts back right side before he's brought down. To give you a little idea of what Scott Phoenix looks like when he returns some of these kicks, Clarence Verdun is the first name that comes to mind, although he's a little bit more explosive than him and runs forward just a bit more.
Phoenix, a freshman. He's 5'9", 160 pounds, so a little guy, a freshman, but he came up big on that punt return earlier. So it'll be first down and 10 with a minute 47 at Broadripple's 24. Broadripple will start and try and get some more points on the board.
Broadripple in the eye now with the tight end on the left side. They got a wide out on the far right, so they're going to line up with a slot back then off to the right side. Kenny Sanders now takes the snap, drops back, rolls out right side, gets rid of the ball, throws deep downfield where the ball is caught all the way at the 45-yard line. That pass complete to Miner. Miner just out left through the Carmel's defensive backs and reeled that one in.
Miner with a leaping catch over the Carmel DB. What a catch by Miner. Very athletic move to give Broadripple good field position. First down at the Carmel 46-yard line.
As how Broadripple did win more games in the regular season, I don't know. They've played excellent thus far into the ball game. As Kenny Sanders drops back again to pass, gets rid of the ball, throws it to the left side to Bailey, and he just out through Bailey. Bailey was wide open. Joe Kohler was about 3.5 steps behind him, and Bailey had that ball bent within about a half a yard of him. Could have wheeled that one in and ran for a touchdown, bringing up about first down and 30, it looks like.
So Broadripple hurt by the penalties that time. They now have 30 yards in penalties.
First and 27, they're going to call it. Kenny Sanders out of the I formation. He's got 5 wideouts, 3 to the right. Throws the ball across the middle to the safety valve. Picks up about 10 yards on the play. That was Sean Parker making that completion.
Get on the play, though, was the quarterback by Mike Wagner applying the pressure, but he's able to get it off under pressure for a good 10-yard completion, as you said.
So second down now, and what appears to be about 16 or 17 facing Broadripple.
Timeout, Broadripple.
Broadripple now takes a timeout, which is scored 21-6 in favor of your Carmel Greyhounds, but Broadripple is driving. We're going to take a 60-second booster break. That's 60 seconds on the voice of the Greyhounds.
Thanks go out to the following Greyhound boosters: Faber's B Windows Incorporated, George and Pam Faber, Daniel G. Crabb, Reese Jones, Family Physicians of Carmel, and Stephen P. Lang, also of Family Physicians of Carmel. Kenny Fassler and Gabe. Don, Karen, Kevin, Eric, and Brian Finney. Steve, Jill, Jennifer, Stephanie, and Greg Abel. John and Gloria Abel. John, Linda, Michelle, Bo, Matt, and Mary Beth Abel. Tom and Susie Abernathy. Matt, Andy, and Todd Abernathy. John Ackley. Rich and Athena Adams. Linda and Dwayne Aiken. Lowell and Donna Allen. George and Perla Alvarez. If you would like to be a Greyhound booster, send your check or money order for $25 to the Greyhound Booster Club, 520 East Main Street, Carmel, Indiana, 46032.
Hello and welcome back to Broadripple, where that pass play from Kenny Sanders intended to his running back on that far left side, Jimmy Bailey, was incomplete. Chad Whitlock was down about 2.5 steps again from Bailey, and this time Bailey was underthrown. Whitlock, had he turned around in time, would have had an over-the-shoulder interception, but fortunately for Broadripple, they're just faced with a 3rd and 15 now as Whitlock let that ball bounce from their own 48-yard line.
3rd and 15, as you said. They probably want to get a first down here. Minute 15 left. Carmel still could have some time on the board.
They send 3 wideouts to the right side, all lined up almost single file formation. They have 1 right side. Bailey's the only man in the backfield. A lot of pressure. The ball tipped, and Hedegaard almost picked it off. Morris almost picked that ball off, and the intended receiver, Corey Smith, even had a chance at that ball, as it's now 4th down and 15 facing the Broadripple Rockets.
Sanders now 5 for 11 passing, now not incompletion. We've just heard North Central is up 21-17. So North Central mounting a comeback late in the first half.
It's a high snap for the punt. Bailey gets it away. He's a left footer. Polk now back deep to field this one, lets it bounce to the 20-yard line, then lets it roll out of bounds rather at the 15-yard line. So first and 10 Greyhounds, well, they'll take over on their own 15.
Carmel leading 21-6 on a touchdown from Aaron Peening from 40 yards out, and then 2 5-yard touchdowns, one coming from Shannon Polk and one coming from Jeff Whaling.
Minute 3 left in the first half of action. As you said, they lead, as the Greyhounds lead 21-6. First and 10 where the ball is spotted at the 18-yard line of the Greyhounds. They come to the line of scrimmage with Trissler and Sarah, far right side. Split back formation for the Greyhounds. Meek now sets, barks up a signal, takes the snap, gives it to Polk on the counter. Polk tries to go on the left side, and he gets knocked back down behind the line of scrimmage. So now under a minute left in the first half of action.
At the end of the half in the Kokomo North Central game, who will play the winner of this Carmel Broadripple game, North Central coming back, is now on top, 21-17. That's at the end of the first half at the Kokomo North Central game.
Trissler right side, Sarah far left. Now under 30 seconds left in the first half of action. One man in the backfield. Meek drops straight back, throws deep to Trissler on the right side. Trissler over the shoulder, he's got the catch, he's in the open field for 40, 30, 25, 20, 10, 5, touchdown, he's in. He hit the accelerator and made it in quickly. So now 11 seconds left in the half.
8 was the defender.
As that's going to make it 27-6.
An 82-yard touchdown reception for Josh Trissler. Carmel strikes late in this half, a minute 10 left in the half, with a big touchdown reception by Josh Trissler.
Boy, once he got into the open field at about the 30-yard line, he just hit the accelerator and closed quickly. I couldn't even keep up with him.
The DB leaped for the ball, making the jump on the interception, not on the receiver. Trissler was able to turn on the heat, as you say, and run that one in. So an 82-yard touchdown reception for a touchdown for Carmel.
So Lonzo now on to attempt the extra point. He's been perfect this far. Penalty flags come down. Not sure what the call is, as I can't see a 24-second clock around me.
Carmel had the ball for 3 seconds on 2 plays, capped off by the Trissler touchdown.
That's encroachment on Broadripple, as Carmel may now elect to go for 2, as it's going to move it up half the distance to the goal line, but it looks like Kyle Alonso is just staying set.
Carmel now has 162 yards passing with that 82-yard pass to Trissler.
Peening is a long snapper. Blake will be holding for Kyle Alonso. The high snap, Blake barely gets it down. Alonso kicks it up and through the uprights. It's good. That makes it 28-6 here with 11 seconds left in the first half after Trissler's 82-yard touchdown reception from Travis Meek. Puts the Greyhounds out commandingly here at their 28-6 now, just about ready to go into halftime.
So Carmel has scored 14 points in the first quarter and 14 points in the second quarter.
Carmel's special teams and Emory Sievert especially may not want to mess with Scott Penick again, who returned to punt for a touchdown and may kick this ball on the ground with only 11 seconds left. And hopefully let the clock run out here on halftime.
That punt return coming just 2 minutes into the second half. It was a 70-yard punt return by Penick, as you said, and Broadripple's only score that was coming in the second period of play. Carmel has scored 14 in each quarter. Carmel has a staggering 308 yards total offense in the first half.
So Emory now set for the kickoff. He gives the ball a boot. Just a little short boot, that is, as it goes about 15 yards, and the ball's loose. No one picked it up, so this, technically speaking, could be ruled as an onside kick, as Carmel's saying they have it, and they do have it from the official signal. So Emory kicks the ball about 15 yards straight up in the air, not on the ground. It lands, nobody picks it up, and Carmel falls on it. So they'll take over on downs now with 6.6 seconds left from their from Broadripple.
What a huge play, about 40-yard line. And a good job by the heads-up play by the Carmel's coverage team that time of seeing the loose ball and falling on it. As Carmel will take a timeout, so we'll take 60 seconds. That's 60 seconds on the voice of the Greyhounds.
Our thanks go out to the following Greyhound boosters: Dan and Sharon Hansman and family, Dave and Mimi Harden, Steve and Mary Harlow, Roger, Paula, and Ryan Harper, Dr. and Mrs. Robert D. Hartman, Jerry and Marcia Harvey and family, Chad and Judy Hastings, Jerry E. Hay, Tom and Mary Linda Hay, Don Hay's family, Mr. and Mrs. Donald Heck, Joe, Sharon, and Laura Heim, Nick, Diana, and Amy Hine, the Heitholtz family, John and Rosemary Hensel, Troy and Joanne Herman, Rick, Nancy, Amy, and Matthew Hepplinger, Tony, Liz, Lisa, and Allie Hayworth. If you would like to be a Greyhound booster, please send your check or money order to the Greyhound Booster Club, 520 East Main Street, Carmel, Indiana, 46032, and your name will be added to this list.
Get in the open field, they're no longer big plays. They're big plays with a touchdown tacked on the end of it.
So Broadripple will have a shot on offense first, try and strike first blood in the second half and get back into this ball game. Offensively, Broadripple has 42 yards passing their big yardage gainer. They have -10 rushing. Carmel's defense stopping the run as usual.
So Sean Parker now back deep for Broadripple. Also back with him is Scott Penick, who ran back a punt return for a touchdown. And to the right of Brown is David Murray. Similar formation that the Carmel runs out of, if you've seen the Greyhounds at home, with one deep man and two up backs, only a few yards ahead of their lone deep man.
Interesting to note, most of Carmel's kickoffs, Seifert has kind of pushed it really high and not very far. So see if he does that again, continuing the opening of the second half.
So Seifert now just about ready to get this second half started. Where the Greyhounds lead 35-6 here. Seifert gives it a boot. Good end-over-end kicks going back to Penick on the right side. Penick fields it about the 10. Brought up to the 15-yard line. Makes a cutback move out. Tries to turn the corner. He's at the 40-yard line before he's finally brought down by John Rowling on that far right side. So Scott Penick is a freshman phenom to the fullest extent of the word. As he's been very explosive this far, and he has gotten his Broadripple team psyched up.
And he is definitely an explosive returnman for Broadripple. You said it. He's only a freshman, 160 pounds, 5'9", a little guy with good speed and good moves. That time, bringing it back to the Carmel 41-yard line, or the Broadripple 41-yard line. I'll get it out.
So Broadripple now at their own 41-yard line. Check that, 37-yard line. Kenny Sanders comes to the line of scrimmage. Split back formation, slot back right side, tight end set down in the left. Sanders now on the quarterback keeper up the middle. Goes forward for about 2 yards. An interesting first play of the second half.
Yeah, something we haven't seen from Broadripple. Maybe trying to catch Carmel off guard a little bit in the middle. Not Todd Wright and the other two interior linemen, Ernie Munez and B.J. Hammer, doing a good job of stopping him that time.
So there was a bit of a soft spot there on the right side of Carmel's defensive line, but was shut down pretty quickly now. Sanders comes to the line of scrimmage. That's on the right hash mark. Sanders going out of the shotgun. Wide out right side, slot back right side, split back formation. Low snap. Sanders picks it up off the ground, throws across the middle. The ball's almost picked off by Eric Hedegaard. It hit him between the 3 and the 3, and he dropped it.
Eric Hedegaard tipped one up in the air as the second quarter was coming to an end earlier, and that time he had his hands on another one. But the important thing is he did tip it down for a Broadripple incompletion.
In defense of Hedegaard, that would have been a very difficult catch, as I did describe it, hit him between the 3 and the 3, but he had his head turned when he was trying to cover the intended receiver there. Regardless, just under a minute now into the second half. Your Greyhounds lead 35-6. It's 3rd down and 8 now, facing Broadripple. They're on their own 39-yard line. They have a wide out left side, slot back right side. They're running out of the I formation. Sanders drops back, throws the ball high in the air, left side. Olsen giving chase to it. Can't quite close on it fast enough, but it falls down to the ground harmlessly.
as Kenny Sanders has to pick himself up the ground. Mike Wagner and Todd Wright applying the pressure that time against Sanders. You mentioned it. It was a quick drop, and Carmel was able to get right around him, and he barely got that one away before he was hit by Todd Wright and B.J. Hammer.
So 4th down and 8. As speedy John Serra is back deep to return the punt from Bailey. Bailey, as I said earlier, is a very fast running back who also does the punting, and don't be surprised to see him take off and run with this. 4th down and 8. It is a fake though, but they give it to one of the up backs, and he gets dropped behind the line of scrimmage about 5 yards deep. As Broadripple had nothing to lose there. 4th and 8. Excellent play call, down 35-6 here, just underway in the second half.
Carmel ready for it. Billy Brown, B.J. Hammer, and Todd Wright in there to make the tackle. Heads up play by Carmel's defensive line and outside linebacker core.
So Carmel will take over downs now at Broadripple's 33-yard line. 1st down and 10. Carmel breaks their huddle. Sends Tristler out far right side. Serra on the left. Ricketson and Roth are in the I formation. Peening tight end right side. He takes the snap, gives it to Roth. Roth cuts back outside to the right. He gets brought down from behind, close to the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play as Aaron Peening gets into another bit of a pushing match with one of Broadripple's players.
Good tackle by Broadripple. Roth trying to turn the corner on the right side. Brought down hard by a Broadripple defensive lineman.
As I said a couple weeks ago, if there's a statistic kept for penalties, personal fouls drawn, it would be Aaron Peeney, who plays so hard all the time that the opposing teams tend to keep on going after the whistle blows, as they did that last time. David Foss now out left side, another wide receiver out to the far right. Split back formation for the Greyhounds. They fake the ball several times. Meek rolls out right side. His blocker fell down, throws down to the Peeney. Peeney's got the ball at the 10, 5. Penalty flags go down in the backfield now as Peeney directs one defensive back into the end zone. That's touchdown, Greyhounds, but penalty flag down.
There's been 8 penalties in this game, 5 of them against Carmel, 45 yards. Be interesting to see what this one is.
Broadripple's clapping, although that means very little. Illegal man downfield against the Greyhounds.
That's the second touchdown that's been brought back by a penalty against Carmel.
That's kind of tough for the offensive lineman to know when to go downfield and when not to go downfield. It looks like Carmel's got a lot of substitutes in the offensive line.
In the first half, Shannon Polk ran one from 40 yards out for a touchdown. That one was brought back by holding, and this time Peening punches it in, and it's brought back by a legal man downfield. But nonetheless, it'll be second down for Carmel, and they'll try it again.
So it would have been a touchdown for Aaron Peening. It is now going to be second down and 20 from Broadripple's 44-yard line. Greyhounds come to the line of scrimmage with Serra left side, Ricketson and Roth in the split-back formation. Another wideout far right side. Meek remains in the ball game. Takes the snap, drops back, looks right side. He's under a lot of pressure. Throws across the middle to Peeney. Peeney back to the original line of scrimmage. Rumbles forward, close to the first down at the 20-yard line. We'll have to wait for the official mark to see if he did get it.
Peening a good job coming over the middle. Linebackers weren't there for Broadripple, and Peening was wide open over the middle with a leaping catch and brought it down close to a first down, and they're going to call it third down and about a foot.
So third and short now as Tristler and Serra stay in the ball game. No full house here, as this is 4-down situation here. 9:35 left in the third quarter of play. Your Greyhounds lead 35-6. 2 wideouts left side. Slot back for, or check that, make that a split back formation. Peeney, the tight end, sit on the right side. They give the ball up the middle to Ricketson. Ricketson rumbles forward for a few and gets the first down. So 1st and 10 Greyhounds.
Ricketson, the junior fullback, seeing most of his playing time in the Muncie South homecoming game, scoring 2 touchdowns in that game. Coming into this game, getting the first down for Carmel. Carmel now has 218 yards rushing and 146 passing. Or 178 passing, I'm sorry.
So Carmel now huddles up 1st and 10 from Broadripple's 18-yard line. They already lead this ball game 35-7. 9:05 left in the third quarter of play here. Split back formation. two wideouts are split up equally. Meek drops back, looks left, throws to Sarah. Sarah in the corner of the end zone. The ball is intercepted at the 1-yard line.
Yes, he did.
The interception on that play was LaShawn Miner, who brought down a huge 40-yard pass reception in the first half, and this time comes up with the interception as Sarah was just too short, and LaShawn Miner just went up for a jump ball as that ball was thrown too high. There's an injured Carmel player down on the field.
That one was thrown to Sarah deep in the deep left, and a good jumping catch by Miner for the interception. We've seen him have a big play on offense with leaping catch, and that time brings the ball down for an interception.
So there's an injury timeout in the field. So with that, we'll take a 60-second booster break. That's 60 seconds on the voice of the Greyhounds.
Our thanks go out to the following WHJE boosters: Mike and Marcia Wozniak, account representative for Waddell and Reed, Mark Light, Kathy, Bobby, and Joey Smith, Rick Rice, Bruce and Pam Schultz, Dion, Terry, Shannon Polk, Ryan McDaniel, Billy and Bonnie Metzger, Barbara Miller, Hanson Heisyong, Ed, Jan, Danielle, and Chris Gross, Stu Hancock, Alan and Ann Hendrickson, Bud and Donna Edwards, Thomas Berman, Steve and Gina Chassie, Dave, Barbara, and Todd Byerling. If you'd like to be a Greyhound booster, send your check or money order for $25 to the Greyhound Booster Club, 520 East Main Street, Carmel, Indiana, 46032, and your name will be added to this list.
Well, this is Kevin Rust alongside Derek Harding. 8 minutes and 50 seconds left in the third quarter of action. Matt Woods, the injured player, was down for a long time, and it looks like they were working on his right leg, although he is getting up and limping off the field. He looks like he's under a lot of pain, though, but good news, he is limping off the field. He's able to put a little bit of pressure on his right leg. As the Greyhounds now their defensive unit in the ball game after the interception by LaShawn Miner.
First turnover for any teams, and Greyhounds, unfortunately, have it against them with that, as you mentioned, the great leaping interception by Miner.
So Broadripple comes to the line of scrimmage at the wideout right side, another one far left side. I-back formation. And the slot back off to the right side. Sanders takes the snap. Throws right side way downfield to Miner. Miner has the ball almost reels it in, but Morris came in and was able to knock that ball down.
So Sanders is now 5 for 14. Broadripple, 42 yards passing. Definitely their strong point. And they like to go to it. Throwing deep to Miner. Miner's caught a deep one before, and then that interception he caught just moments ago against Carmel.
Second down and 10 now. The ball's on the 20-yard line of Broadripple. After that incomplete pass, Miner moves out right side. There's a slot back off on the right as well. I-back formation. Sanders takes the snap, drops back right side, quick three-step drop, and Hedegaard almost intercepted that ball. And also another Carmel player with a chance at an interception. That was Joe Kohler, I believe, but Hedegaard and Kohler collided on that ball in the middle of the field.
That's third time Eric Hedegaard's had a tip and could have intercepted. He's doing a good job of tipping him down, though. So Sanders is now 5 of 15. They're forced into a third down play.
So third and 10 from the 20-yard line of Broadripple. As Broadripple at the line of scrimmage with a wideout right side, another one far left side, I formation. Still got that slot back on the right side. Sanders drops back, looks right, rolls left. He's under a lot of pressure. He's going to run with the ball as he tucks it. One man to stop him, and he does stop him about 5 yards shy. That was John Rolling on the open field tackle.
Yeah, about 4 for Sanders. Give that one to the Carmel secondary. Good coverage, forced him to run there as he's pressured by the defensive line of Carmel. Good job again by Carmel's defensive line applying more and more pressure as the night goes on.
Either John Rolling made that tackle or that play could have very easily gone for huge yardage.
Good open field tackle to Rolling, you are right.
As it's fourth down and 3. Broadripple attempted a fake punt last time. The ball's on their own 27-yard line. Bailey deep to punt. He gets it away just in time. Sarah's going to field this ball at his own 40-yard line. Brings it up to 45, 50 left side. 45 up to the 40. Forced out. No, he stays in bounds at the 40. 35. He could go. 10-5. Touchdown, Sarah down the left sideline.
So special teams have come up big for both teams. A punt returned by Broadripple Dickinson for 70 yards. And now Sarah returns it for 60 yards. A touchdown for Carmel from Sarah.
So Sarah, the home run hitter for the Greyhounds, has come up big now. He's their big play receiver, and now back deep on the punt return, got into that open field, tippy-toed down the sidelines. I thought he stepped down. Fortunately for the Greyhounds, he stayed in bounds and made it all the way down the sideline.
Sarah, the quick receiver for Carmel, their explosive receiver. He's 5'8", 160 pounds. In comparison with Pickens, I believe his name is. You can clear that one up for me?
Penick,
there we go. Sorry about that. Penick, who is 5'9", 160 pounds. So similar in size, but both of them with quick speed and good return ability.
So Lonzo tacks down the extra point. He's perfect on the day. Score 42-6 now in favor of the Greyhounds, as they're starting to put this one out of reach for Broadripple.
So Carmel continues their big play with 3 touchdown receptions of 40 yards or more at the end of the first half in 3.5 minutes, and then now in the second half, they score off a 58-yard John Sarah kick return.
So Sarah goes off to the sideline to catch his breath as Embry Sievert now comes onto the field to kick this ball away. Carmel's dominated thus far. Really, since about the second quarter of play, it's been pretty much their ball games. There's 7:36 now left in the third quarter of action. They lead 42-6 here. As when things are going well for Carmel, Embry Sievert sees quite a bit of playing time. If he's on to kick this ball away, Carmel's special teams has been superb all season long, although they did give up a touchdown to Scott Penick on a punt return.
That he did, and usually Seifert kicks it really long. He's got a good leg on him. He can kick it in the end zone and well into it.
So now, Seifert just waiting for the official signal. He gets it and gives it a boot. End over end kick to the right side, fielded by an up back who brings it across. Check that. Right across the middle of the field is there's a lot of extracurricular activity going on with Nick Olson and 2 of the Rocket Flares. The ball carrier was finally brought down near the 30, I believe.
We've just gotten word.
24.
We've just
4.
I'm sorry, Kevin, I mean to interrupt you. We've just received word that North Central now leads 30-27. 30-28. North Central now leads 30-28 with 2:50 left in the third quarter.
So now, Broadripple to the line. Sanders out of the shotgun formation. Slot back right side. Wide out far to the right. They're going to give the ball to a running back onto the lane. Nothing doing there. As soon as he gets the ball, he was hit by Wagner and B.J. Hammer.
Just to clear it up, I misspoke a minute ago. That's Kokomo leading North Central 30-28 with 2:50 left in the third quarter.
So 7:09 left and ticking left in the third quarter. Greyhounds lead 42-6. Second down and 15 now facing Broadripple from their own 19-yard line. 3 wideouts far right side, 2 wideouts left side. Sanders alone in the backfield out of the shotgun. Takes a snap, looks right, has to roll out right side as everyone is on him. Just gets rid of the ball on the right side. His intended receiver was Bailey, who was open on the right side.
Not really a bad throw, just out of bounds. Bailey was running on stride to catch the ball, but it was just out of bounds by about a yard.
With 2 minutes left in the third quarter, Kokomo 30.
So Carmel's defense has forced Broadripple into a third down once again with 6:42 left in the third period. We mentioned Kokomo is leading. If Carmel should win here, which it looks like they're leaning towards that direction, they go up against Kokomo in the sectional championship game.
Broadripple now with a slot back right side, tight end left side, I formation, wide out right side. Ernie Muniz hits Sanders as he throws as four Carmel defensive players were in the vicinity of where that ball was dropped, and it just happened to drop right in the middle of them. So that's going to bring up 4th down and 15 now.
So Broadripple trying to get something going with the deep passing game on that drive. Carmel's defense, though, coming up big with the pass rush.
Colin Welch, the senior defensive back, is deep to return this punt, standing at about Broadripple's 49-yard line. Bailey back deep to punt. Good snap. Bailey takes his time but gets it away. Welch fields it at his own 49-yard line. Brings it up right side, past the 50, 45, 40, some room to run. He's at the 35, tripped up finally near the 30-yard line. Make it the 32. That's where Carmel will take over on downs.
So Colin Welch with a 20-yard return will give Carmel get a 1st down at the 32-yard line with a penalty flag on the field. 6:22 left in the 3rd quarter.
It's going to be a legal procedure against Broadripple. So Carmel, I believe, either has the option of re-kicking this or just taking it where it is. And penalty is declined, so Carmel will just take it where it is. 1st and 10 from Broadripple's 32-yard line. Scores 42-6. 6:22 now left in the 3rd quarter of action.
Penalty is declined. Carmel will take over. 1st and 10 off the 32 ball.
So Carmel with a big lead. Probably going to run the ball, trying to get the clock to wind down.
Ralph and Rickson in the I formation, wide out right side, another one far left. Meek now still in the ballgame. Rolls out right side, drops back to pass, throws across the middle to Peening. Peening was just overthrown, as that'll make it 2nd down and 10 from Broadripple's 32-yard line.
Good coverage by Broadripple, and unfortunately Meek overthrew him just a little bit. So Carmel with the big lead here in the 3rd quarter. With 6:17 left in the 3rd period, and Carmel will be faced with a 2nd down and 10.
Carmel now leads 42-6. Comes to the line of scrimmage, 2nd down and 10 from Broadripple's 32-yard line. They have split wide out Foss on the left. I formation. Meek drops back. Oh, delay to Roth. Roth right up the middle. Roth's going to be close to the 1st down. Pick up of 7 or 8 on the play for senior tailback Roth.
So the draw bay for Carmel play almost comes up big for him. Just tripped up was Roth, a shoestring tackle, stopping him short for the 1st down.
Now just under 6 minutes left in the 3rd quarter of play. Well, 3rd down and 5, not as close as I thought, as Carmel takes a timeout. With the 5:42 mark in the 3rd quarter, your Greyhounds lead 42-6. We're going to take a 60-second booster break. That's 60 seconds on the voice of the Greyhounds.
Our thanks go out to the following Greyhound boosters: Mike and Jerry Glascott, Larry and Nancy Glaze, Larry L. and Donna K. Gleason, Gerald K. Goldsmith, Mr. Greg Gossard, the David Grass family, Mike and Cindy Griffin, Sharon Grimm, Janet Gildenbecker, Hans and Linda Gunderson, Herb and Barb Gutterman, Mr. and Mrs. Bill Guyton, Mark and Marilyn Haig and family, David and Susan Haas, Mary Ellen Hayner, Phil and Candy Hagan, Mr. and Mrs. David F. Hakala, Gary and Victoria Haley, Mr. and Mrs. David Halverson, Bill, Barb, BJ and Blair Hammer, George Hanasono, Dave and Julie Handel. If you would like to be a Greyhound booster, send your check for $25 to the Greyhound Booster Club, 520 East Main Street, Carmel, Indiana, 46032, and your name will be added to this list.
Well, welcome back to Broadripple, where your score is 42-6. Carmel to the line with 2 wideouts and an I formation. Meek drops back to pass, throws right side to Stair. Stair completes the ball to the 10-5, and he's in the end zone. Touchdown. That's going to make it 48-6. As Stair now has scored 2 touchdowns this ball game.
So a 27-yard touchdown reception from John Serra makes the score 48-6. Carmel leads.
As Carmel now still throwing the ball with 5.5 minutes left in the third quarter with a commanding lead. Now lead by 42 points.
27-yard pass play from me to Sarah.
As now doing the long snapping is Jay Platt, a backup center. For your Greyhounds, as there's another injury, this time on a Broadripple player. It's Ronald Peenick, an older brother of Scott Peenick, who scored Broadripple's only touchdown thus far.
Carmel now with 245 yards passing.
So Carmel now putting up some big-time numbers throwing the ball, as Travis Meek has had one of his best games this year.
He has, and the big pass has been the name of the game for Carmel in this game.
Kyle Lonzo now on for the extra point attempt. Different long snapper, but it's a good snap. Gets down in time, and Lonzo must have had something for dinner before he came here, but his leg is jumping as that one flew through 49-6, as he has made every single one of these very, very easily.
Well worded, Kevin. He is definitely kicking well, putting him through with extra yards to spare tonight.
So Carmel now leads by 43 points. 5.5 minutes left in the third quarter of action here at Broadripple.
Carmel with 2 touchdowns in the first quarter, 3 touchdowns in the second quarter, and now 2 touchdowns in the third quarter. Scoring for Carmel have been Jeff Whaling, Shannon Polk, Aaron Peening, Josh Trissler has scored twice, and now in the third quarter, it's been Sarah twice.
So now Emery Siebert has everything all teed up at the 40, kicks the ball away. It's a good kick, end over end, and this is going to land in the end zone for a touchback. So Broadripple will take over at their own 20-yard line. Broadripple does not have the best of field position this ball game.
You're right, Kevin. They really haven't. Their last drive, they didn't have good field position either.
They started at the 19-yard line.
Yeah,
thereabouts, yes.
Last year, last drive, they've had at the 37, the 24, the 29, the 1-yard line, their worst field position. They've also had it at the 40, the 25, and the 31.
Well, Sanders takes the snap, gives it to his fullback on the attempted end around. Nothing doing there. Loss of a couple of yards is Carmel's second unit has come on strong here in the second half of play.
And Carmel with a strong second-string backfield, as we've said numerous times this year. They've got Ross and Ricketson, and then they have Martin and Thomas, as well as their starters, Shannon Polk and Jeff Whaling.
As unless Coach Jim Belden decides to give Meek some more playoff experience, you might see Nick Blake, a very comparable backup to Travis Meek. As Kenny Sanders comes to the line of scrimmage, he's got a wide out right side. Fakes the pitch, rolls out left side, looks like a naked bootleg. He is going to tuck it away and run with it. Picks up a few on the play. That'll bring up second down and 9. Actually picked up 5 on the play. It was second and 14. That'll make it third and 9.
Sanders has been a gutsy quarterback tonight, running the ball on several occasions. Carmel's defense has reacted well to the quarterback keeping the ball, jumping him and gang tackling him, not allowing him to get first downs. That time picking up about 4.
So third down and 6, excuse me. He picked up 9 yards on the play as the ball's placed on the 24-yard line. Sanders drops back, looks left, throws left across the middle to his tight end where the ball is almost picked off, and 2 secondary defensive players for Carmel can collide on that and weren't able to reel it in.
Jim Sinclair, the junior DB for Carmel, free safety, backing up Nick Olson, had his hands on that one, but a teammate hit him, as you said, and knocked it down.
And that was Matt Armington that bumped into him as they were both going for the ball and didn't notice each other. As now Bailey's back deep to to punt. Colin Welch is standing at the 45-yard line, his own 45-yard line to return this one. Bailey gets it away cleanly. Welch fields it at the 45-yard line, makes a stutter step move, brings it up left side, almost gets the 50-yard line, return of 4 yards after a good punt by Bailey. Game. Blake pitches the ball to Rolfe. Rolfe trying to turn the corner on the right. He just gets around the corner, but only picks up 3 or 4 on the play, bringing up second down and 7.
You mentioned Carmel owning the second and third quarter. They've scored 5 unanswered touchdowns against Broadripple in the second, third quarter. So you're right. The second, third quarter have been the keys to Carmel.
As now Scott Teenick comes off the field, favoring his right arm, as both brothers have gone down with injuries. He did walk off under his own power, though. He's played an excellent ball game thus far. As they come to the line of scrimmage with 2 wideouts left side. Slot back formation. Foston Barrett are on that left side. Nick Blake is now taking over for Travis Meek. Blake gives the ball up the middle to his fullback, who rumbles forward for the first down, picking up 8 on that play. On the second down and 7 situation.
His fullback on that play was Ian Ricketson. A junior backup fullback to Jeff Whaling. I want to mention Carmel's running back and fullback are juniors, so we'll see Jeff Whaling and Shannon Poles, the effective twosome, back next year.
So Carmel has a lot of good things to look forward to this year and next year. Carmel, a likely state contender this year, as Nick Blake fumbles that snap. Penalty flags go down all over the place. There's probably some movement there down the line of scrimmage for your Greyhounds. And it was 1st and 10, and they did jump offside, so that'll push Carmel back here. 3:17 left in the third quarter. Your Greyhounds lead 49-6 over the Broadripple Rockets.
There have been 9 penalties in this game, 6 of those against Carmel for 60 yards.
1st and 15 now, as there's a new center in the ballgame, Brady Shirley, as there's virtually a whole new offensive line in there for the Greyhounds and a new quarterback and a new backfield. As Baird and Foster out on the left side. Check that, make that Feldman. Blake hands the ball off up the middle there to Roth. Roth gets back close to the original line of scrimmage, picks up about 4.5 on the play.
Ball carrier number 5, Mark Roth.
So Ross getting him that much closer, as you said, with the 4-yard gain, almost getting back to the original line of scrimmage. We've seen Ross quite a few times this season as Carmel still sizable leads against their opponents.
As Carmel looks pretty content just to try to run this clock out. As it winds down at 2.5 minutes left in the third quarter. Again, they lead 49-6 here. Carmel second down and 11 now. As they come to the line of scrimmage with an I formation. Foss, the only wideout, he's on the left side. Blake takes the snap. Hands the ball off. Left side, Roth has got a lot of room to run. He's got the first down a little bit more up to the 20-yard line. As it'll be first down Greyhounds as the chains keep on moving. The clock stops periodically for the chains to get in position.
Carmel opened up a huge hole on the left side of the line that time. Ross ran through untouched from the line until he got into the secondary.
First and 10 on the Ripple 22-yard line.
Ball spot on the 22. First and 10 Greyhounds. Lonzo off far right side now. Ricketson, Roth in the eye. Double tight end set. Blake took over for Travis Meek on this possession, is driving the team well. Blake takes the snap, gives it to Roth. Roth off tackle, left side, gets picked up and slammed back down on the ground about 4 yards from the line of scrimmage, bringing up second down and 6.
So Carmel continues to run the ball successfully, trying to wind down the clock in this third period.
Minute and a half left now in the third period. They lead 49-6 over the Rockets from Broadripple.
Carmel now has 214 yards rushing in this game, 218 yards passing. Passing not usually ahead of the rushing, but it has been this game.
As is a wideout far right side, double tight end set again, and in the eye with Roth and Ricketson. Blake gives the ball to Roth. Roth up the middle. He's got a little bit of a hole and falls forward. Let's see if he's close to a first down or not. Very close to a first down. A second down and 6. Picked up nearly 4, maybe 4. It is a first down Greyhounds. That'll stop the clock at the 103 mark in the third quarter.
Good trap blocking by the right side of Carmel's line, allowing Ross to go up for the first down.
Carmel now sends Abels out left side. Still that double tight end formation and denied. Blake now watches the clock wind down under a minute of the third period, and then gives the ball to Roth. Roth up the middle. Just goes straight ahead. Pick up of a couple on the play.
Number 5, Mark Ross, the ball carrier, stopped by Chico Nabisi.
They're going to spot him 3 yards on the play. Second down and 7 is now under 30 seconds in the third quarter of play left.
So with this play, Carmel's probably going to let the third quarter come to an end. They'll run one more play.
Ball is on the 8-yard line. They don't need a first down. Blake rolls out left side, tries to run with it, doesn't pick up much. Third quarter clock runs out, and with this timeout, we'll take a 60-second timeout at 60 seconds on the voice of the Greyhounds.
Our thanks go out to the following Greyhound boosters: Judy and Mo Silverman, Jennifer and James Sinclair, Mr. and Mrs. Michael F. Smith, Ed and Renee Smith, Smith Funeral Home, the Souter family, Jim and Mary Spahn, Michael and Cheryl Spence, Sport Photo Buttons, Gary and Janet Stack, Richard and Cindy Steele, Sandy and Steve Steinkeller, Bob, Susan, Aaron, Bobby, and John Stevens, Bill and Dorothy Stidham, Barbara Story, Larry Strausberger and family, Rhonda and Tom Stroughton, Bob and Nancy Sweeney, Sam and Karen Tancredi, Randy and Kathy Taylor, Jim and Trudy Struck and Heather Tenbarge, Bob and Barb Threckeld, Bill and Mary Tierney. If you'd like to be a Greyhound booster, send your check or money order to the Greyhound Booster Club, 520 East Main Street, Carmel, Indiana, 46032, and your name will be added to this list.
Hello, this is Kevin Russ alongside Derek Hardy, bringing you the final 12 minutes of action here from Broadripple High School. Your Greyhounds lead 49-6 and have dominated the second and third quarters of this ball game. They now have the ball with third down and 5. It's on the 6-yard line of Broadripple.
Carmel threatening to score already with 2 touchdowns in the third quarter. Going into the fourth quarter, Carmel scored 5 unanswered touchdowns in the second and third quarter, and they had 14 points in the first quarter.
So Nick Blake comes to the line of scrimmage with an eye behind him and bear it out to his far left side with a double tight end set. Blake now set. Gives the ball to Brent Thomas off to the left side. Thomas falls forward close to the first down. Let's see if they give it to him. He only needed to get to the 1-yard line.
He was tripped up on the play by Calvin Max, a junior linebacker for Broadripple. So a good play by the linebacking core of Broadripple, stopping Brent Thomas short and forcing Carmel into a fourth down.
About a yard shy now, 4th and 1. From the 2-yard line. So Roth and now Brent Thomas are in a split back formation. Get a double tight end set. They give the ball up the middle to Thomas. Thomas finds a hole and gets into the end zone. So that'll make that 55-6 in favor of the Greyhounds at the 11-14 mark in the fourth quarter of action.
So Brent Thomas runs it in from 2 yards out for the Carmel touchdown.
As Cal Lonzo now on to attempt the extra point. He's been perfect thus far.
Lonzo will attempt the extra point.
Nick Blake is holder. Snap is a little bit to the inside of Blake, but he gets it down on time, and Lonzo puts it up and through. He's been perfect today, making the score 56-6.
Really quick for Carmel in the first quarter. Jeff Whaling and Shannon Pope scored from 5 yards out. Then in the second quarter, Broadripple got their only score on a 70-yard punt return. in the third quarter, and Phoenix scored from 40 yards out. Josh Trissler scored from 82 and 34 yards out. And then in the third quarter, Sarah scored from 58 yards out and 27 yards out. And most recently, in this fourth period, we just called Brent Thomas's 2-yard touchdown run.
So Emery Seaver now kicking off for the Greyhounds. As we've seen quite a bit of him today, just put one deep in the end zone, his first touchback of the evening. 11:14 left in the ball game. Greyhounds lead 56-6. As it's an end-over-end kick to the right side of the field. Fielded by one of the deep men. He brings it up from the left to the right, now back to the middle of the field, where his feet are taken out from under him by Weintraub, an excellent special teams player. As it's now first down and 10 from Broadripple's own 23-yard line, as they're trying to get something going here real late in the ball game. Kenny Sanders comes out.
Carmel's defense has played well all game. It's going to be tough for Broadripple to get something going.
Kenny Sanders and his team comes to the line of scrimmage in an I formation. They give the ball an inside handoff right up the middle to Bailey. Bailey can't find much running room.
So again, on the play, maybe a loss. They're going to call a loss of about 3 yards.
So second down. Score 56-6 here in favor. As there's now just 10.5 minutes left in the game. Broadripple has the ball on their own 21-yard line. Second down and 13. Sanders pitches to Bailey on the left side. Bailey makes a move. Wells brings him down, though. Close to the original line of scrimmage. Pickup of about 3 on the play. Helping Brian Wells out on that tackle was Jason Baker.
Kokomo still leads North Central by a score of 30-28 in the second half of that game. That's of great interest to Carmel, as Carmel will face the winner of that game next week, assuming Carmel can hold on to this huge lead and go into the sectional championship game next week.
Broadripple out of the eye, 2 wide out, far right side. Sanders drops back, looks left, dumps it out to Bailey, a safety valve in the flat left side. That's not Bailey, check that. Who gets knocked down. It looks like he's going to have a first down. And plus about 3 yards on the reception there was Sean Parker.
Good play by Broadripple. Parker went out to the flat that time and got the second first down of the game for Broadripple. Went out to the flat, Parker did, and not accounted for by a Carmel linebacker or secondary.
Sinclair on the tackle. As Broadripple out of the eye again. Double tight end set. They fake the handoff off the middle. Sanders drops back, fumbles the ball, picks it up off the ground. He runs around the right side. He's going to run with the ball. And then Jason Baker takes him down by his head and takes him into the ground as Weintraub took out his knees. Penalty flags come down real as the official thought about it and then decided to throw a flag, I think, on what will be Jason Baker. As he did tackle Sanders by the head.
This will be the 10th penalty of the ball game. And it's going to be personal foul against Broadripple. So Broadripple now has 45 penalty yards against them.
So that'll move Broadripple back even after the sack there. Carmel now. Still up 56-6. 9:04 left in the ball game. Broadripple just lost 15 yards on that personal foul. It's going to be first down and 25.
That really hurt.
17-yard line.
It's really going to hurt Broadripple trying to make some sort of comeback or just get points on the board. And it's going to be a loss of down, so it'll be second down.
Second and 31 is now where it's spotted. Sanders drops straight back. Looks left side. Throws deep down to Bailey. Bailey was open but was overthrown by about 3 or 4 yards. Brian Wells on the coverage.
Another flag thrown on the play late this time. And you're right, Kevin. The receiver was running for stride, and this looked like he overled him by a few yards.
As Broadripple and Carmel are both starting to get a little bit irritated at each other as this game's winding down.
This one's going to be against Broadripple again.
And they are marching them off. So Broadripple's woes continue. They only have 2 first downs this far in the ball game. There's only 8 minutes and 58 seconds left. It was a 2nd down and 31 after the incomplete pass. Make it 3rd down and 31. Then the penalty will be half the distance to the goal. They were on their own 17.
So Broadripple with 2 late penalties now has 70 penalty yards on the game. That's going to hurt you, unfortunately.
Another personal foul penalty. Ball's now on the 8-yard line. 3rd down and real long, as Broadripple needs to get all the way to the 48-yard line, so it's 3rd down and 40. As there's a timeout on the field. So with this timeout, we'll take a 60-second booster break. That's 60 seconds on the voice of the Greyhounds.
Our thanks go out to the following WHJE and Greyhound boosters: Randy, Becky, Jennifer, and Krista Foster, Stan and Marcia Isaac, Dr. R. Stephen Teagarden and family, Midas Muffler, Les and Ruth Miller, Scott, Betty, and Tracy Miller, Margene Miller, Larry and Nancy Miller, Barbara Miller, Dick, Nancy, Megan, and Kristen Miniman, Patrick, Robin, Kelly, Kevin Monahan, Joe, Clarice, Brian, and Jill Moon, Moore Appraisal Company, Tom and Louise Moretto, Ralph and Maxine Morgan, Judith and Bernard Morell, Bob, Anita, and Andy Morris, Doug, Kathy, Susan, David, John, and Mary Catherine Mulder. If you would like to be a WHJE booster or Greyhound booster, send your check for $25 to the Greyhound Booster Club, 520 East Main Street, Carmel, Indiana, 46032.
Hello and welcome back. For Kenny Sanders, the face of the 3rd down and 40. For Broadripple, he has 3 wideouts on the right side, 2 on the left. Low snap. He's under a lot of pressure from the 8-yard line. Rolls out right side, throws downfield. He's got a man open, and the man that was open on that play, let me get a name for you, Jermaine Dixon, didn't turn around to catch the ball and just watched it sail over his head. So that'll bring up 4th down at 40, and now Broadripple has more problems because the ball's on the 8-yard line. I'm not sure if that's going to be enough room to get this punt away.
A late word in the Kokomo North Central game. Kokomo has just scored with roughly 2 minutes left in the ball game. Kokomo leads 36-28. So officially 2:27 left in the Kokomo North Central game. Kokomo leading 36-28. Looks like Carmel could make a trip to Kokomo.
Well, the Greyhounds in this ball game, 8:56 left as the clock starts. Punts is away, fielded by Welch. Welch brings it up to the left sideline. He's got some room to run, runs into his own blockers, cuts back right side. Penalty flags come down. He made it up to the 20-yard line. Nice run back by Colin Welch. So I was saying 8:43 left now in the ball game. The Greyhounds up 56-6 over Broadripple.
This is the 13th penalty of the ball game. A lot of penalties in this ball game.
As there's another penalty down. This one might go against Carmel here. Yeah, clipping on Carmel. So that'll negate a nice little run back by Colin Welch, but not going to do a whole lot of damage into the as to how this game will wind up, as they are up 50 points. 56-6 is the score. 8:43 left in the ball game, where your Greyhounds lead commandingly. Nick Blake now in the ball game, quarterbacking. Sends Alonzo out right side. Bartley, the sophomore, is now the fullback in the I formation. Officials timeout now. And now they get things going. I believe it's David Martin in the backfield behind Bartley. Blake sets, barks out the signals, takes the snap, gives the ball to, fakes the ball to Bartley, Blake's going to keep the ball, runs over the right guard position. He's got a first down, a little bit more, pickup of about 13 on the quarterback keeper. Didn't quite fake me out that time as I almost went for the fake.
Good job, Kevin, keeping with the fake there. It was a good fake by Blake, and he's going to get a first down on the quarterback keeper. You mentioned Barley, the sophomore, into the game, and Martin, the junior. So seeing a barrage of Carmel backs here in the second half.
So Colin Welch and sophomore Ryan Abel comes out far right side. They're still in the I formation. Now Blake takes the snap, gives the ball right up the middle to Bartley. Bartley goes forward for a pickup of about 5 on the play.
Carmel now has 240 yards rushing and 245 passing.
As we are starting to get into some double numbers, that was John Stevens on the split right side. And now Foss comes out left side, Abel's right side. Carmel using a little bit different formation than they had been for the beginning of the second half. They're still in the I formation now. Blake set. Second down and 8. Penalty flags come down all over the place after Blake snapped the ball. The ball was on Broadripple's 23-yard line. The Greyhounds lead 56-6 at the 7:35 mark in the fourth quarter of action here from Broadripple.
So the penalties continue to rain down here in the fourth quarter, this time coming from 3 officials, so definitely a blatant foul, and it's going to be legal procedure against Carmel as they jumped a little bit before that play.
So it's going to be second down and 13 now facing the Greyhounds. As Blake to the line with split wide out, Alonzo on the right side. Takes the snap, gives the ball right up the middle to Martin. Martin goes forward close to the original line of scrimmage. Well, he's going to pick up a nice little chunk of change, about 3 yards beyond the original line of scrimmage.
So Martin giving Carmel actually some positive yards past the line of scrimmage that time. Will give Carmel about a 3rd and 8 on the play.
David Martin, the ball carrier.
3rd down and 8 now. As Abel out right side. Stevens far left side. I formation. Tight end left side. Blake takes the snap, gives it to Martin. Martin right up the middle, follows some blocking. He's got some room to run. Close to the first down before he's finally dropped.
Martin rushes for the first down.
And he does get the first down. Ball is on the 13-yard line, pickup of 10.
So now Carmel was inside the 20, threatening, but more importantly, they have a first down and 4 more plays to run the clock down.
Martin Bartley out of the split back formation. Wide out right side, another one far left. Blake takes the snap, pitches the ball to Martin. Martin cut back move to the center. He follows his blockers and is close to another first down.
So Carmel continues to run the clock down here in the fourth period, leading 56-6. Just over 6 minutes left in the game.
Second down and 3 now. Abel's right side, Stevens far left side. Martin and Bartley in the eye, Dykeman the tight end on the left side. Blake now sets. Looks on the blitz, gives the ball to Martin. Martin left side, cut back move. He's in for the touchdown, so Carmel tacks some more points down the board. That'll make it 62-6 at the 5:37 mark here in the fourth quarter of play. So now Kyle Lonzo on to attempt the extra point, as he's seen a lot of action today.
Late word, North Central down by 8 points against Kokomo is on Kokomo's 5-yard line with about a minute left, threatening to score. And North Central has scored, so now they're down 2 points with 1:26 left in that game. Carmel plays the winner of that when they go on to win this one, as they will, now leading by the score of 62-6.
Well, the bad snap. Lonzo gets the kick up and good, but of course penalty flags are down. Personal foul, Broadripple. As what else would you have on every play here? As the fourth quarter has been very sloppy. Penalty flags have gone flying all over the place. The referee should just leave them on the field and make things a little easier.
Well, you're right. That's the 16th penalty of the game, and a lot of those coming in the second half. They're going to call sportsmanlike conduct against Broadripple.
As the score now 63-6, 5:37 left in the ball game. After Kyle Alonso's point after attempt, he has been perfect down the ball game thus far, and he is now looks like he's into attempt as the, or not rather attempt, but he's on for the kickoff, as he will more than likely do this duty next year for the Greyhounds. As with the 15-yard penalty, he will kick off from Broadripple's 45-yard line.
So, Martin added to the list of Greyhounds who have scored here tonight. Polk and Whaling have scored. Peening and Trissler have scored. Trissler scoring twice. Sarah scored twice. Thomas has scored. Martin has scored. So a host of Carmel Greyhounds have scored tonight in their 62-6 lead.
Check that, 63-6. As Lonzo just about ready to kick off from Broadripple's own 45-yard line. He gives it a boot. End over end kick straight down the middle, about 5 yards deep in the end zone. That's a touchback, so Broadripple will start with a 1st and 10 from their 20-yard line. Down 57 points with 5:37 left in the ball game.
In the North Central Kokomo game, North Central score was about 1:20 left. Then North Central down by 8, went for the 2-point conversion. North Central missed the 2-point conversion, and now North Central is down 2 points against Kokomo with 1:23 left in that game.
So now Kenny Sanders and the rest of the Broadripple Rockets come to the line of scrimmage. Wide out right side. 2 slot backs, and then an I formation. Gives the ball to Bailey. Bailey right side, rumbles forward for a little bit. Picks up 3 or 4 yards. Check that. That wasn't Bailey. That was... Well, actually, I believe that was Ronald Bailey there on the... Or Jimmy Bailey, excuse me, on the carry. It was Ronald Penick. I had the first name correct there on the carry. As he came back in the game after an early injury. Kenny Sanders now gets set, same formation, a 9-back set with 2 wideouts. Check that, 2 slot backs. He drops back to pass, dumps one over the middle. He's got a man open, but Sinclair popped the man as soon as he caught the ball, but regardless, it looks like a first down. On the completion there was Corey Smith.
That's a heck of a catch by Smith. He was hit right as he caught that one and bobbled after he got hit. So an excellent catch by Smith.
And Sinclair really hit Smith and made him bobble that ball.
So good concentration from the Broadripple receiver gives them a first down, their 3rd first down of the game.
So now 4 minutes and 40 seconds left in the ball game. Kenny Sanders sets. There's an I formation behind him. Pitches the ball left side. Breaks the tackle, gets upfield, runs over Sinclair this time, close to the first down after Sinclair ran over one of his players. Now Sinclair gets a taste of his own medicine. On the carry there was Ronald Penick.
And they're going to get another first down as the running game's starting to click for Broadripple.
4 minutes, 27 seconds left. That's the important thing. 63-6 is not much of a chance here for Broadripple, although they are moving the ball. Ball placed on the 45-yard line. 1st and 10. They hand the ball off right up the middle, inside handoff, pick up of 1 on the play, make it 2nd down and 9. As Tim Sinclair is playing pretty tough here, he ripped the jersey off one of the offensive linemen.
On the carry there, David Murray, also a DB for Broadripple.
2nd and 8. Off the Broadripple 47-yard line.
2nd down and 8, they're going to call it. Broadripple has advanced to the 47-yard line of Carmel. Wide out far right side, slot back on that same right side. Kenny Sanders now, the quarterback set. Hands the ball off right up the middle. Stop for no gain, though, is the man on the carry there. Let's get a quick number there. Ronald Penick, I believe, on that carry. Yes, it was. As he was stopped in the backfield, close to the original line of scrimmage.
So Carmel's defense has forced a 3rd down and 8. 8 or 9 for Broadripple. Probably 4-down territory, though, for Broadripple.
Well, again, at this point, 3 minutes and 15 seconds left. The Greyhounds lead 63-6. Not a real huge issue for the Greyhounds. They're coming out of the eye. They pitch the ball left side to Penick. Penick's got some room to run, close to a 1st down, but he's knocked down by Jim Sinclair again, who put such a big hit on some of these guys. He gets knocked backwards himself like that time. As nice friendly spot by the officials. Still looks to be a bit short, though, from this angle.
They're going to call it 4th down.
4th and 1 now. And at this point, the Rockets might as well go for it. As the clock keeps on ticking, 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in the ball game. The Rockets down 57 points to the Greyhounds, who have controlled the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th quarters of this ball game.